Hi, everyone, and welcome back to yet another live episode by Voice of Crypto. In these daily live sessions, as you guys are well aware, we do a deep dive into the crypto price action, as well as take a look at some of the top altcoins and how the cryptocurrency market at large is performing. We also take a look at some of the top news updates from the crypto Web3 blockchain market. So, all of this coming shortly. But before we start, I have a quick disclaimer for anyone who's joining for the first time or hasn't been around for a lot of these sessions. None of what we say on these sessions is financial advice. So always do your own research in the crypto Web3 blockchain market. Cryptocurrencies are, of course, highly volatile assets. So make sure that DYOR should be your mantra to success in this market. That said, without further ado, we will take a quick look at the crypto market, um, how it has acted in the last one day or so. Yesterday, the market wasn't doing as great. The Bitcoin price Bitcoin was the only crypto in the top 20 that was noticing some sort of a price momentum, positive price momentum. The other altcoins, on the other hand, were more or less in a consolidation mode. For now, however, as Bitcoin made the massive gains that it did, not massive, so to say, but it did reach the higher resistance level that it had been oscillating under for quite some time. And after sort of touching the 40K mark, now BTC is back at the 46.5K US dollar mark, gaining over 5% in the last one day, finally making over 2% gains on the weekly as well. A look at the global crypto market clearly shows us a crypto market cap clearly shows us that the market cap has gained close to 5% in the last one day, finally established above the 1.72 trillion US dollar mark. A few days back, in fact, over the weekend, the global crypto market cap had slumped below the 1.7 trillion mark, and that did spell a bit of trouble for investors in the market for the short term, of course. But now we can see that volumes have once again picked up. The total crypto market volumes have risen over 35% in the last one day. They have managed to be above the 81 billion US dollar mark, and on a good trade day when activity is high, when the market is a lot more vibrant, so to say, is when we see the market volumes above 80 billion. On slower market days, when there's not a lot of vibrancy in the market, we usually see the total crypto market volume to be below either 70 billion or just about 70 to 75 billion, which we saw in the last couple of days. But now, with volumes gaining over 35% in the last one day, establishing above 80 billion US dollar in the last 24 hour, it clearly goes on to show that there is a lot of activity in the market, and this is, of course, rising from the positive anticipation around the Bitcoin ETF, the decision around which is set to come out tomorrow. And we will, of course, take a deeper dive into the Bitcoin ETF decision tomorrow itself with our expert, BitBlonde, who is Himali. She will be joining us on Voice of Crypto tomorrow for this really important session, where we will be decoding how the BTC spot ETF approval will sort of impact the larger crypto market. That said, we will now be taking a look at the top altcoins, and quite a few altcoins have made their way, gaining quite a bit of ground in the market in the last one day or so, while Solana is still uh, off the higher marks of about 120 US dollar, which it had achieved in the last week of the last year. But now, again, of course, Solana had fallen down to the 90 US dollar mark. And just yesterday, I was talking about how that is a great entry point for anyone who's entering the market. And today we can clearly see that Solana has rallied from the $90 mark to the above 100 US dollar mark, which is a key psychological support resistance line for Solana. So it won't be wrong to say that we at Voice of Crypto had sort of called that bottom for Solana in the short term. And anyone who would have sort of got in on that tip and entered the market, entered Solana position yesterday, would now be in almost 12% gains, which is the kind of gain that Solana saw from yesterday when I was taking the session to now. So in the last exact 24 hours, we have seen Solana gain over 12%. But and this was me highlighting Solana price action. We will, of course, take a look at the top Solana meme coin BONK towards the end of our episode. That is going to be the topic of discussion for today. Uh, on the weekly, if we take a look at Solana, it's still down by over 11%. So, for anyone who was unsure in the market and whether Solana would sort of attain or achieve the higher price levels, clearly Solana has made its way above the psychological support resistance mark. And there's still a lot of growth for Solana price. Um, if Solana is able to reverse these weekly losses of over 11%, then again, Solana can see Solana investors in the short term who enter a position either today or tomorrow can see more gains incoming. That said, Ethereum price, of course, has gained a little bit, but not as much as the rest of its counterparts have. BNB again, a pretty similar price track like Ethereum. We haven't seen a lot of gains for either Ethereum or BNB. Both are down 4%, a little over 4% on the weekly, and have managed to make mere 3% and 2% gains, respectively, on the daily time frame. Solana, on the other hand, like we mentioned, gained 12% in the last 24 hours, still down by over 11% on the weekly. XRP, minor gains of close to 2%, but still down by 10% on the weekly. Cardano, again, a few gains coming in of over 5%, but it's down by over 16% on the weekly, over 14%. Avalanche is down by over 14% on the weekly, but has managed to make decent 10% gains in the market. But as we take a look at the top meme coin, that being Doge, Doge hasn't really charted those crazy price movements or gains or rallies that it usually did. And uh, it does seem that the DeFi summer or the altcoin season has not taken its full sort of hasn't really encapsulated Doge spirits. So we're still waiting for the Doge bomb that sort of shakes the market. That for now is not in my view, at least in the short term, as we don't see a lot of volatility for Doge anyway at the time. Polkadot, a few gains, of course, over 5%. Tron, not a lot to look forward to either on the daily or on the weekly. Tron is still down by over 6%. Both Dogecoin and Polkadot are down by close to 14% on the weekly. Chainlink is, of course, down by 13% on the weekly. And Chainlink, Polygon's Matic, and Dawncoin are all making decent short-term gains, but like I said, not a lot to look forward to. Same goes for ICP. ICP was one of the top gainers in the last month. Now, however, not a lot of momentum for ICP as well. On the other hand, the Doge killer Shiba Inu is, of course, gaining a little bit more than Doge is, but not substantial gains or not substantial gains to sort of call it a rally or anything. And then again, it's down by 12% on the weekly. BONK, however, which is the new challenger to Doge and SHIB, uh, is a coin that we will be taking a look at shortly. But before that, a quick look at the top. A quick look at the top news of the day. And when we take a look at the top news, we have to, of course, talk about the Bitcoin ETF approval, which is expected to happen soon. But futures tracking crypto markets show that some 155 million in shorts have been liquidated in the last 24 hours after a sudden uptick in price in the US hours. And this essentially means that the Bitcoin bears have lost over 100 million as these shorts sort of saw liquidation. Um, on the other hand, with the Wednesday deadline looming, regulators sent comments just hours after the would-be issuers filed documents detailing their fees. And very recently, the filers for the Bitcoin ETF sort of released their fees that they would be setting out for the market. And with that happening on the side, the SEC started to hustle to answer latest Bitcoin ETF filings. Uh, Other than that, Jim Cramer went on to say that Bitcoin is topping out. But does that mean that this is the Bitcoin top and Bitcoin isn't going to top out anytime soon? Well, Kramer's picks have often had the tendency to move in the opposite direction as he touts, and a lot of market reports have often pointed out how Kramer sort of predicts one thing and the other happens in the market. So while this isn't commentary from my end, more often than not, what Kramer predicts, the market sort of revolves in the opposite direction. So with Kramer saying that this could be Bitcoin top, whether it is actually going to be one is something that remains to be seen. But as we head closer to seeing an approval or not seeing an approval or clearer guidelines around the Bitcoin ETF, spot ETF approval, Bitcoin has decoupled from NASDAQ amid, um, of course, ETF speculations. And the 40-day correlation between the two has finally declined to zero. This Usually, Bitcoin and Nasdaq have moved in tandem, and this tech-heavy equity index has sort of been very correlated to Bitcoin price in the last 4 years, but their correlation has heavily dropped and has finally reached negative territory. Such sort of Such a negative territory was last seen in 2019 end, and we clearly know what happened in 2019 end. Well, Bitcoin saw a very decent price uptick during that time. So usually the when the correlation sort of hits a negative is also when Bitcoin price sort of gains a lot of momentum. That, of course, remains to be seen. But um, for now, we will move back to our topic of discussion for the day, which is BONK and how BONK jumped 25%. What is behind the rapid rise? But before I move ahead, I have a quick announcement for anyone who's joining for the first time or our regular Web3 communities who we're extremely, extremely thankful for. If you haven't already, go ahead and join Voice of Crypto's Telegram announcement channel. Also visit voiceofcrypto.online, which is our website, for more detailed analysis around cryptocurrencies, altcoins, and of course, updates from the crypto market. So go ahead and do that, guys. Whichever social media platforms you've joined us on, you'll find a link to both our website as well as our Telegram announcement group right there. So if you haven't already, go check that out and do join our Telegram announcement group without fail for all the alpha from the Web3 crypto blockchain market. That said, it's finally time to take a look at the star of the show for today, which is, of course, BONK, the meme coin that has garnered, uh, to my surprise, a lot of attention in the last couple of months. And this Solana based meme coin has sort of managed to create quite a bit of wave in the market. If you take a look at the monthly price chart, it is still way off. Bonk's price is still way off of the all-time high that it achieved in mid-December, around 15 December. So price is, of course, not as high as price isn't as high as we'd expect it to be, but of course, right here in December when Bonk gained the kind of traction that it did, we can clearly see that a lot of trading happened soon after the all-time high was achieved, and of course, this was a lot of sell-offs in the market that had resulted in the uptick in volumes right here. these sell-offs happen, and since then the price has made lower lows, lower highs, and this is the first time, in fact, that bonk has managed to break free from that sort of downtrend that it was in. And if I join all the lower lows that bonk has made, we can clearly see that bonk's finally trying to break free from the um, the downward price trajectory that it was in. And if you take a look at the 1 month price chart, bonk is still down over 7%. However, um, um, on a weekly again, bonk hasn't gained a lot of momentum, but today itself, bonk rallied by over 27%, which isn't the greatest news for bonk holders, because of course bonk investors or traders have seen triple digit gains for bonk in the last couple of months or so. So while this doesn't come as the best news, this does come as a sign of bonk breaking away from the downward trajectory that it had assumed in the last couple of weeks. For now, if we take a look at trade volumes, of course, there's a lot of trade happening on bonds since it broke free from the downward trend that I just mentioned a while back. And this has led to a rise in volumes, over 250% rise in trade volumes for bonk in the last 1 day or so. This means that there's quite a bit of heavy trading happening on bonk at the moment. And a quick view on why bonk is rising. Well, in the last couple of weeks, bonk sort of aided Solana infrastructure also to rally the way it did. And the demand for Solana's meme coins has sort of saw a decline, but the that's exactly why bonk price sort of found it difficult or challenging to break free from the bearish range that it was in. But as the bullish sentiment around SEC's approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF sort of increased, so with this bullish sentiment sort of catching a hold of the market, of course, bonk found the right breakout point. Whether the bonk breakout would continue or whether bonk would sort of see more resistance going forward is something that remains to be seen. So do let me know in the comment section or on our Telegram community, what do you guys think about bonk, whether it will be able to challenge the monopoly of some of the top meme coins like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. What will be the fate of bonk in the short term as well as in the long term? Do let me know. And for now, however, we clearly see a lot of demand for bonk in the market, which is evident in the trade volume, the spike in trade volumes, or that could also be a lot of retail euphoria around bonk. That said, it is important to point out that bonk achieved a massive 11,000% gain last year, alongside listing on major exchanges like Binance and Coinbase, which aided the larger momentum, the larger bullish price momentum that bonk saw. So, with that, we would conclude today's session. Thank you so much for joining us. And there are people in the comment section asking us about any other suggestions for meme coins. I will, while I hate to make predictions or suggestions, I will see you tomorrow with a few upcoming meme coins in the market. So maybe join me tomorrow at the same time to take a look at a few other meme coins in the market on not just Solana, but a few other infrastructures like Avalanche and other DeFi protocols. I will make sure to come up with a list of meme coins that, and of course, this is not going to be investment advice, but I can take a look at a few upcoming meme coins in the market, most definitely, because this is something that our users have been asking us for. And with this, I would wrap today's session. Thank you so much for joining us today. Um, Lots of love to all our lovely Web3 communities, our lovely Web3 followers. Thank you so much for joining us once again. I will see you tomorrow at the same time for the daily live session, but I will also be going live tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. UK time. So make sure to join us. I will be coming in live with Blonde, who is an ace trader. She's an amazing crypto trader. She's an ace technical analyst. So we're going to be, of course, taking a look at we're going to be taking a look at some of the top coins, as well as how the crypto market will be affected at large after the Bitcoin spot ETF approval, if at all that goes through. So that's all for today, my friends, and I will wrap up today's session. Bye bye. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you all tomorrow with fresh updates from the crypto, Web3, and blockchain market. Bye bye.